A new and incredible twist in the desperate search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, who vanished 11 days ago from her home in Tucson, Arizona. Lawyer and TMZ creator Harvey Levin says he received a letter from someone saying they know who the kidnapper is. He'll give up that information for 1 Bitcoin. So much is driving this case to new intensity right now, this hour. And we've already seen just in the last few hours, less than 24 searches in a border town in Arizona, Rio Rico, and in Tucson. Scores of local law enforcement and the FBI's elite hostage unit engaged. And that video of a person caught on camera at Nancy Guthrie's home, perhaps the kind of evidence that could lead to finding the now famous mom of NBC host Savannah Guthrie. I'm Harris Faulkner. You are in the Faulkner Focus. TMZ founder Harvey Levin revealing that new development in the case on our air at Fox just an hour ago.
We got kind of a bizarre letter, an email from somebody who says they know who the kidnapper is and that they have tried reaching Savannah's sister Annie and Savannah's brother to no avail. And they said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address. As they put it, time is more than relevant. So we have no idea whether this is real or not, but they are making a demand. It's interesting that, you know, Bitcoins fluctuate in value, but it's around $56,000 now, 1 Bitcoin, which is about the amount that the authorities are offering for information leading to the return of Nancy. So I don't know if that aligns, but whoever sent this, and they actually give a name and an email address.
Investigators now also, in addition with that new information, they're urging the public to take a close look at the video you see on your screen right now. It has gone viral across many platforms around the world. Please look up at your screen if you haven't seen the lengthy video. Doorbell camera video recovered by the FBI shows a masked, armed individual outside Nancy Guthrie's home in the darkness where she was taken by force. The images show someone with a ski mask, backpack, and what looks to be a handgun around his waist. Officials say they believe features like his jawline, the way he walks, and his eyes could be some vital clues. Savannah Guthrie is pleading with the public. Someone out there recognizes this person. Bring her home. The Guthrie family says they do not recognize the person in the video. FBI Director Kash Patel joined Hannity last night.
We have made substantial progress in these last 36, 48 hours thanks to the technical capabilities of the FBI and our partnerships. And I do believe we are looking at people who, as we say, are persons of interest. But as you know, with any investigation, you are a person of interest until you're either eliminated or you're actually found to be the culprit or the culprits involved. And that's the stage we're at right now.
Former FBI Assistant Director Chris Swecker is standing by. And we begin with our senior correspondent, Alicia Acuna, who has the latest on Nancy Guthrie's home in Tucson, Arizona. Alicia.
Hi, Harris. And FBI Director Kash Patel also said that they continue to recover images and footage from Nancy Guthrie's home. So it's possible we're going to see more of these releases. And NBC News is reporting that when the Guthrie family was shown this footage, they did not recognize the subject. Now it's in the public's hands. Authorities hoping something about the way this person walks or moves, the look in the eyes, will strike them as familiar, and they will call a tip line. The FBI says when they released these photos and these videos of this person walking up to Nancy Guthrie's front door, the number of tips coming in on this case increased significantly. Overnight, investigators detained and then released a man by the name of Carlos in Rio Rico, Arizona. That is south of Tucson. He is a delivery driver in Tucson and told our Matt Finn he did not know if he had ever delivered to Nancy's house. Sheriff and FBI investigators also returned to Annie Guthrie's neighborhood. They went door to door and also conducted what looked like a grid search of the area. One of our producers said she saw them looking in a neighborhood's shed at one point.
We're not taking any chances. We're going out there and combing neighborhoods and swaths of territory where we think there might be possible information, and we're going to go out and talk to anyone who has information or we believe has information in this or is involved in this tangentially or otherwise, and we're going to continue to develop those leads.
And Harris, I want to get back to the search at Annie Guthrie's neighborhood that we saw yesterday. Our team there asked them why they were there, what they were doing, and the only thing they would tell us is it was follow-up work. Back to you.
All right, Alicia, thank you for getting us started today. Chris Swecker, former FBI Assistant Director. Chris, always good to have your expertise. So first of all, talk to me about this latest development with Harvey Levin's team and the receiving of that letter that says for 1 Bitcoin, which he did the math, is not too far off from the reward. It's in the 50,000, somewhere in that range is the value of it. And that's the award or the reward offered in this case. He says, then they can learn who the kidnapper is. What do you make of it?
Highly skeptical. I just don't think anything TMZ has brought forward has panned out. I mean, it's a good vehicle for people to come in and do this. TMZ gets some viewership, and you know, it sort of ties up the investigative team trying to run this down. But I sense a scam here. I mean, I may be absolutely wrong. I hope I am. I'd love to think that this was a viable lead, but I think it's one of many hundreds that are coming in through the proper channels, which is the FBI tip line. So bottom line is I'm very skeptical of it.
You're skeptical of the people who would have sent this. It shows that there would be some sort of, at least maybe, a hat tip. And Harvey Levin said, look, there's no way to know if any of this is real. But, you know, you put it out there, you put it into the case for certain. And that's kind of what I hear you saying, too. You can't just discount it. There was a lot of talk about how meticulous the original ransom letter was. TMZ's Harvey Levin on the difference between that letter and how the suspect acts in the camera footage we now have.
Just the thought that went into this letter doesn't match the thought of somebody coming up fully disguised, knowing that they don't want to be seen, and not even thinking, gee, people have these cameras on their door. You know, you don't have to even have cased her door or property to just make an assumption that she may well have a camera like that, and you should be ready to somehow block it. You know, have a piece of cardboard, have something to immediately block it. And this person walks up almost surprised that there is a camera there, and then walks over and stoops down in the garden area, grabs some shrubs. I agree with you. It just does not align.
Look, he's describing what we all can see. What is your thought on that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that the person that is depicted in that video is not a Mensa candidate for just his lack of preparation and sort of sloppiness there with the video. And in fact, I'm not even sure why he went to the front door when that was not where he gained entry into the house, and I doubt he socially engineered his way in at 1:50 in the morning. So I agree with that part. I'm not so sure I agree that the original ransom letter was sophisticated. I mean, anybody can draw up a letter, and you know, everybody's literate. I just don't see that as showing any particular sophistication either.
Look, a quick question. You mentioned
again,
that.
I'm sort of a skeptic.
That backdoor entry. Tell me more, and what you see in this video juxtaposed with what you know.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he did not. I don't think he gained entry in that door, because you see the video taken when the house was released by the various media outlets. That door is perfectly intact, and then there's blood drops on the ground in front of that door, and then you see an Amazon delivery right there up against the wall. So that had to have happened sometime very close to the day after, you know, that morning after she was taken. So you can tell a lot from that. That entry wasn't gained through the front. So why is he messing around with that? It looks like he may have taken the next 15 minutes, because we have 15 minutes later, we have another detection. He may have taken the next 15 minutes looking for a place to enter. And as in Idaho, there was a screen, or there was a sliding glass door left unlocked. So he may have probed all the way around the perimeter of the house in which case you might have some other Nest video of that part.
Oh, interesting.
Again, this is speculation. I'm on the outside looking in here, but I suspect, maybe skipping forward, I suspect that's why they jumped that Amazon delivery driver, because they probably tracked him to that delivery.
You have given us some, food for thought when they continue to release more of these videos. So we appreciate that. Chris Swecker, always good to have you. Thank you.
Good morning.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.